Good afternoon to all my listeners and everyone that's listening to Love 97 right now. Today is an exciting day for me and for you, my fellow sisters out there, because we are launching a new radio talk show called Woman to Woman. And ladies, we're keeping it real up in here. So this is a talk show for women, by women. It's new to Love 97. It's new to Grand Bahama. And I am your host. My name is Chrishna Bowe. I'm a local author here on the island. I've just recently released a book called Woman to Woman. We've been duped. And I'm a mother of 3, been married 20 years. And I have a passion for my fellow women. The mandate of this show is simple. What we are attempting to do is to create an outlet that is going to openly empower our women, allow us as women to share issues that really matter to us, and allow us to discuss, and by discussing, inspire each other, to live a life of peace, fulfillment, and happiness. As with my book, one of the things that led me to write it was the fact that I just felt like there are too many of us out there, by that I mean women, out there living lives that are unfulfilled. We're not happy, we have no peace, we have no joy. And I felt that, someone needed to do something about that. So, with the inspiration of God, I just decided to grab the bull by the horns. And this is my way, and just trying to help you, my fellow sisters. What this radio talk show hopefully will provide for many of you is another pathway to freedom. It provides an open forum. It actually even gives you a level of privacy because you cannot be seen. And if there's anything that you feel you want to discuss or even ask about, you can feel free. This is a call-in show as well. So as we go through, if there are any questions, you can go ahead and call in. For us women, what I am seeking to do with this show is for us to really look at our lives, to really recognize where we're at, and in turn to analyze how we can really, really move forward. And by doing that, maximize our time here on earth. Now, I just want to give a shout out to my sponsor this afternoon, and that's none other than Simply the Best. And Simply the Best has been in business for a very long time. It's been serving the Grand Bahama community now for over 20 years. It's a multimedia company, videography, photography, television production, you name it, they can do it. Have any old VHS tapes, they can convert those. So I just want to say again, thank you to Simply the Best for making this show possible today. And for any prospective sponsors, you can contact Love 97, or you can contact me at 351-6519 if you are interested in assisting with empowering our women here on Grand Bahama. Now, as we get into what we're going to talk about today, I am going to just briefly tell you what we're going to be covering. And today, because it's the first time for the show, we want to start off by saying that as women, we need to keep it real. This show is all about authenticity. We want you to be authentic with your comments, with your input. As you listen, we want you to be real. And we do invite any comments or questions that you may have. The numbers here at Love 97 are 351. Well, it's only one number, really. 351-6176. Now, the purpose of today's show is really to promote that as women, we need to be more authentic. I hate to say it, sisters, but women are such fakers. And this is a part of the bondage that we are in. And it's a part of the reason that we suffer so many ills in our life. This show promotes honesty. There's no sugarcoating here. There's no pomp. There's no pageantry, no frills, no fusses. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to get it here. This is real talk, lady. Real talk, real issues, and we are hoping real help. If you're not ready to be real, then, that may be another issue. But we're not trying to tell you what you want to hear, or we're not trying to make something bad sound good, or we're not trying to excuse our horrible behavior sometimes as women with justifications. We're trying to be real and upfront and transparent. Life is short, and if we are going to genuinely help ourselves and each other, for that matter, there's really no room for mistruths. So none of that here, ladies. None of that here. We want to stop pretending, stop faking, stop acting like you have it together. Because listen, I know you don't, right? Nobody does. The struggle is real and life ain't easy. But together and with the help of those around us and the different outlets that we may be able to afford ourselves, we can get through it. So let's be real, ladies, and we'll be free. Today, I'm giving you permission, full permission as a woman to be imperfect, to not have it all together. And I do invite you to vent a little bit about it, okay? So you have my permission. Now you may say, what do I mean by keeping it real? What are you talking about? Where are you coming from? Okay. One of the ways in which, or the major way in which we can keep it real with ourselves, stop faking the funk, right? We can be honest with not only ourselves, but with others as well. It's not easy always being honest or endeavoring to be honest, but in the end, it can make life a whole lot easier for us. We can be honest with ourselves and really be true to who we are as a person. We need to take the time to self-evaluate. Are you a faker is really the question of the hour. And if you are, why do you feel the constant need to pretend, to be something or something that you're not? A lot of women do this, and I'm a woman, so I know. A lot of women do this, and it's a question that I've wondered for a long time. Why do we do it? Why do we do it? Because everyone knows life is not a bed of roses for women. But, somehow we still feel the need to pretend that we are something or someone that we're not. Women have multiple roles, and it's not easy. When you think about it, it's not easy. So it can be really easy to lose our way. I think I have a caller. That was quick. So let's see what that person has to say, and I'll continue.
Hello?
Hi, go ahead.
Hi, that's a very good topic. We as women, we always want to put on a mask and think that we're superwoman, but, many years ago, I learned that we are not superwomen.
That's right.
The perfect thing, you said we are imperfect, which is good. There are times when women they're having problems and they go out in the public and they smile.
Right.
They, act as if something is not wrong.
Right.
If a real woman can tell when something is wrong with a woman, everybody else knows that something is wrong with you, but you think just putting on that smile and faking it until you make it, everyone sees that something is wrong with you. If we have problems in our home, we have problems in our marriages, everybody else on the outside knows our business, and we feel as if nobody knows our business.
Isn't
so it's always
something?
Good to get with that, one lady or someone that you can confide in, especially make sure that they're full of wisdom, but you don't need someone foolish or naive
to
give you,
definitely
tell
not.
you do something that you don't want to do. I always tell my husband, honey, if you beat me, everybody can know you beat me. Because I can take off that darkness and I can say, my husband.
Girl, I'm with you.
Because I don't want to fake it and everybody else around me know what a woman husband is beating. No, I can talk my own business.
That's right. That's right.
We really, really have to keep it real. And women, we are not perfect. We really aren't perfect.
No.
I always tell my children, I'm not a good mother. I'm a godly mother. There are some things I'm going to do that you won't like. So what? Go out there, tell people I'm not good. I am not good. I am godly.
Right,
I'm
right.
a good wife.
Right.
Good wife. I am a godly wife. There are some things I'm going to do that my husband may not like. That doesn't mean that I'm not godly. I'm just not good.
Right, and you're not perfect.
Even the Savior said, who's good?
Right.
Who's good?
None.
Why call me good?
Right, right.
Godly is the perfect word. So women, we are imperfect. If you have to cry, cry. You
That's
have to
what
shout,
I say.
shout. You have to frown. If anybody asks if everything's okay, no, it's not okay.
No.
Things aren't doing well at home, or
Right.
Because we need that. We need that help. Women need to get together, like you say, woman
Yes,
to woman.
we do.
We just need
do.
to be real.
I agree. Carla, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. I think that was such a great point that was made by my sister. And, She's obviously speaking from experience. She mentioned her kids, her husband. So we just want to thank her for calling in. But, women, again, it's so important because, see, keeping it real only works to our benefit. When we keep pretending and keep faking, the problem with that is it's to our detriment. It's really not for our betterment. So it works in our favor to keep it real. We want to live. You don't want to just exist. I think that just existing is it's not what God intended for us. He intended for us to live and to live abundantly. But unfortunately, my sisters, there are many of you out there who just, you're just existing. And that should not be a constant state that you're in. I know sometimes it's rough, and we all have our rough moments, but they should be instances. They should not be a constant state that you're in your life. Are you just existing really is the question for the day. Are you existing or are you living? You have to be true to yourself, and being true to ourselves starts the process of actually dealing with the problem, actually coping and attaining freedom. Because, when we can recognize where we are and make concrete steps towards bettering ourselves, that brings freedom. That brings freedom as a woman in this world, And that is one major reason why pretense can be so harmful. It can be so harmful because it just clouds our view, and it allows us not to do what we need to do to be better women, to be better mothers, to be better wives. I'm just going to briefly go through a few points that I feel can help. These are things that I use myself. Hey, I'm not a superwoman. I'm not trying to be, and I'm not claiming that I am, but I am trying to make my way through this life, the best way I know how. And at the end of it, I want to say that it was worth living, that I got joy, that I got peace, and that I was able to do what the Lord has called me to do. Now, the first thing we need to do, ladies, and this is in line with being honest with ourselves, is we really need to take full responsibility for our lives. And what I mean by that is we need to seriously, you may say, how can I practically move forward to improve my quality of life? Well, again, no miracle cure. It's just no pill in a bottle, nothing like that. But it's little steps, ladies. Little things, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week. And then before you know it, it's year by year. So you're just taking your time and just doing little things in your life that can practically bring about change, not overnight, but that will eventually, bit by bit, bring you a sense of fulfillment and peace in your life. One of the things you may have to learn to do is you may have to, in taking responsibility for your life, you may have to learn to forgive yourself. Now, we know our God is a forgiving God. He doesn't keep score. And, once he forgives us, he forgives us. But, sometimes we feel like what we have done is so huge, so bad, so terrible that how can I ever forgive myself? Well, if the Lord has already forgiven you, why can't you forgive yourself? And that's one of the major things, I think, for a lot of us. We're holding on to things that we would have done 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But, if you've made up in your mind that you're going to change your life and take yourself on a different path, then you just have to get past that. And anyone in your life who cannot accept the fact that, you're moving on to a new chapter, you're on your road to improvement, then you may have to seriously consider the place that person may have in your life. So what I'm saying in short is forgive yourself, suck it up, and move on with your life. Another thing sometimes we tend to do is, it's always easier to blame someone else, right? My husband isn't this or he isn't that, or my children, they do this or they do that. And it's easy to blame someone for where we are. We come up with a gazillion reasons why it is our life is the way it is because of who it is. But, don't do that, because ultimately, in very rare cases, would a gun be placed to your head to make certain decisions. So ultimately, the responsibility for most of what we have happen in our lives really falls back on us. And then, sometimes, you get into a pity party. You throw a big pity party and you say, oh, Lord, this ain't going to get no better. I'm not going to get any better. And before you know it, you're sinking even deeper and deeper into a state of despair. So, be careful of that. And I think another thing that can prevent us from taking responsibility is, the old procrastination. And we love to procrastinate. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it next week. You know what? I'm going to change, but it's going to be in the new year. Come January, New Year's, and we go on and on. But the Bible says tomorrow is promised to no man or woman for that fact. So, we really need to take a look at that. Procrastination is not acceptable. If you are going to make a change, even as you're listening to my voice, if your spirit feels pricked to make some changes in your life, then you just need to do it, or you need to start the process immediately. You don't know how long you're going to be here. Life is precious. Time is short. And we just don't know when our time is going to be up. So do away with procrastination and, make a change today. We want to keep it simple, Like I said before, it's okay. You're not the first to screw up in some area of your life, and you won't be the last. So we want to keep it simple, ladies. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Take it for what it is. And let's make the effort. Make the effort to build a better life for yourself. We are all deserving of that. Now, another point that I wanted to bring up in regards to being honest with ourselves and really keeping it real is, and it alludes to what my caller said earlier, there's something that I like to call Superwoman Syndrome. I mentioned it in my book, and I speak a lot about it in the book. And I call Superwoman Syndrome when we women try to be superwomen. Now, that is a total fallacy. That is a fantasy. That does not exist. There are no superwomen that exist on this earth. But yet, somewhere in the back of our minds, ladies, we get to thinking that we can be a superwoman. Sometimes I jokingly tell my kids, now look, I ain't got no S on my chest, so I left my t-shirt home with a big S on the chest today, which means don't expect me to do something extraordinary that is humanly impossible for me to do. And sometimes we develop this superwoman syndrome because, we're living for something or someone. Who are you living for in your life? Is it the people in the market? Is it strangers that don't know you? Is it society? Is it the public? Or are you trying to be a superwoman for your children? Trying to do everything right, trying not to make a mistake. Stretching yourself to the utmost limit. Or are you just so self-absorbed and selfish, that you really just think it's all about you? And hey, I'm super in this way and I'm super in that way. So you're just kind of going on about yourself. Really, we should be trying to be a superwoman if we're going to be a superwoman for no one other than the Lord. So, that is where we should really start. But I figure if you are caught up in this superwoman syndrome, as I call it, I figure you're losing that battle because one perfect man existed and he has been gone a long, long time ago. So, think about it. Think about it, ladies. One of the best things that you will ever do for yourself is knowing your limitations. And it is okay. It is okay to have limitations. We need to be okay with those limitations so that there is no faking the funk on our parts. If you can't do something, you can't do something. What I mean by this is, okay, you have somebody asking you to maybe pick them up at a certain time. Now, what may be happening is you may have already picked up your kids twice for the day. You may have to pick up another friend. So what's happening now is you're really not going to be able to pick up that person because, okay, you probably have to get them to do dinner, but you're still trying. And at the end of the day, you're pulling your hair out of your head because you do end up going to do it. And, you're just totally stressed. And you get home and the kids are screaming that they need something to eat. And it really, really goes on and on. So just, realize that we are human beings, ladies. And we have limitations. So, we got to know that amidst it all, amidst all the noise and the ruckus, that we are wonderfully and fearfully made by God. So we are imperfect, but guess what? God has made us, and we need to embrace that. I think that I have another call on the line. So Go ahead, caller. I
Hello.
think you're too close to your radio.
Hello.
Hi. You
How
may
you
be.
doing?
I'm great. Now, you may be too close to your radio because I'm getting a bit of a feedback.
Okay, no problem. Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a woman,
Obviously.
but I heard you mention earlier about women just existing and not living.
Yes, yes.
What would you say is the most important factor, or a very important factor in terms of a woman living, living, and not just existing?
Well, I think that there are actually three factors that I think about when I say living. I think any human being on earth, be it a man or a woman, we all seek peace in our minds. We all seek joy in our spirits. And ultimately, from the richest person to the poorest person to the middle class person, we want to be happy and we want to be fulfilled. And I
Hmm.
think that when you can accomplish those things, that really puts you in the category of living. A lot of times when I say existing, we kind of given up in our spirits. You know what I mean? Life has
Yeah.
been rough. We've been dealt some really, really big blows. And mentally, because this show is all about the mind and beginning everything in the mind. Mentally, we're defeated. So even though, yeah, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're working, we're really just going through the motions. There is no peace in our hearts. There's no joy in our spirits. In fact, it's so bad that, sometimes you look at women walking around or even in the workplace and man, they look like, look here, don't even say nothing to me. And, a lot of times we've just given up. We've just given up and you say, look here, this is my lot in life and that's it. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be peaceful. That is never going to be mine to have. So you kind of give up in your spirit, even if you don't do it physically, mentally you kind of give up. So you just get up and you just do what you have to do and you go to work and you go to school and whatever else. And that type of thing is what I call existing. You're not getting any real joy out of life. You're just waiting for the day when I guess your time come and they put you in the coffin.
Hmm.
You don't care whether you live or you don't care really whether you die. You're just going to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I view. We all need peace and we definitely need fulfillment. You can't just be going through the motions. You need
That's right.
fulfillment. You need to know like, okay, why am I here? We need to
Yeah.
harness the gifts that God has given us and really, really run with it. He's created all of us differently and he's placed certain passions in every single person's heart. So there's no exception to that. So, that is what I mean by achieving a life of really living. Finding a little time to enjoy yourself. Sometimes you may say as a woman, man, I need a break from the kids, need a break from the husband. Get with one or two of your good friends. Go somewhere, sit down, go on the beach, catch some fresh air, just relax. Take time for yourself. So those are some of the things that I think of when I think of, are you existing or are you just living?
Okay.
So I hope that answered your question, caller.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for calling in. It's good to have a man calling in. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. All right, callers. We heard from a guy. That's very, very good. I'm happy about that because even though this show is focusing on the issues of women, I don't want men to feel like they are not, that they are excluded because, listen, we love men. We women, we love men. And you guys are a very, very important part of our lives. Myself, I've been married for 20 years and I have two boys. So, men are very, very important and they play very critical roles in our lives. So we welcome men to call into the show and to even listen because sometimes, I think men need to hear these things. Men are also busy and, they can't always relate to what a woman is going through. But maybe if they can hear it from an external source, like on a radio show, maybe they will think more about what their wife or their mother or, their significant other may be going through. And it may help them to be more empathetic to the needs of the women around them. So by all means, we really welcome men. Now, before the caller had called, I was talking about superwoman syndrome and letting you women know that, hey, it's okay to not be able to do everything. You don't have to do everything for everyone. There was a long time ago, I listened to a sermon by Joyce Meyer, and she said, we just need to learn the word N-O sometimes. Because, there are many of us sisters, where I call them people pleasers. And as a result of that, you just feel like you just can't say no. You can never refuse to do something for someone if you're not in a position to do it. You just feel like I just have to be there for everyone. Whatever the kids are doing, you have to be to every single function. And what happens with superwoman syndrome is, I think too, we lose ourselves. Because for us to really be the women that God has called us to be, it's really important that our mental state be where it needs to be. And if you stress out and you're not getting any breaks, you're not taking any time outs, yes, women, we need time outs too, and you're not really looking to better yourself as a person, then the same goal that you're trying to accomplish can be defeated. So, I just want to encourage you women to not worry about being super women. Know your limitations, because this brings us freedom. It's freedom in our minds. And that is the most valuable asset I think any human being can ever possess. So, we are all in this journey called life, and it is filled with seasons. Seasons of plenty and seasons of lack. You're not an island, so you're going to need help every now and again. The time has flown by so quickly, and it's time for me to wrap up. So I just want to tell you that there were 2 points that I didn't mention, which is we need to intentionally face our demons, sisters. We need to fess up and stop faking, because when you're fraudulent, people can see it. So just face whatever situation you're going in, try and deal with it, move on. And last but definitely not least, we may have to develop this next week, I want you to know, ladies, that society, we have to be very careful with society. Society is not our friends, ladies. Not our friends, because we live by their standards. They tell us how to live, and as a result, we feel like we have to pretend. But until next time, ladies, we are keeping it real here with Woman to Woman. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening in. I want to give kudos again to my sponsor for today, Simply the Best in the Mayport Building. And I'd just like to say God bless you as you continue to be who He's called you to be. And I pray that this show has made some type of impact in your life. My name is Chrishna Bowe. You can get me on Facebook. You can email me at Chrishna Bowe, CHRISHNABOWE @hotmail.com. You can check out my website, www.chrishnabowe.com, that has information about my book. And just you can contact me at 351-6519. So there's multiple ways to contact me if there's any way in which I can help. So tune in, ladies, next week, same time, Wednesday, same place, 3 to 3:30. Thank you for listening, and blessings, my sisters. Blessings. Blessings.